Welcome, everybody. My name is Ryan, and we are back with more vintage story today. This is episode 31 of my hardcore playthrough. Oh, and we are down here in the equatorial region of the world where it is summer all year long, but it certainly presents its own unique survival challenges, no doubt about it. But we've also got a pretty extensive mod list, so if you're new to the series, check out the description. A lot of helpful info is down there. But we are currently just getting our Hellhammer up and going. You can see I've moved the anvil because this thing is very considerable in its loudness. But I have been doing quite a bit of blacksmithing. You can see we're now looking at 49 ingots. I didn't make too many plates because I wasn't quite sure what we wanted to do yet. But we can easily whip these ingots up into plates thanks to the Hellhammer. Of course, I've been grinding salt the whole time too, just in preparation for using those wonderful food mods that we've got, expanded foods and a culinary artillery. But yeah, just like I said, did a little bit of blacksmithing, getting prepared, going through and just using up a bunch of the ore that has been kind of just sitting in the chest doing nothing. But speaking of doing nothing, our little dragon out here is still not quite big enough to fly, but I anticipate that old Pancake will be fully grown soon, at least I hope. I don't want it to take too long because I really can't wait to take to the sky. So I think in today's episode what we're going to do is get prepared for her by making a saddle. So let's pop downstairs real quick and check on our mushroom leather. That's right. Since this is a vegetarian only run and pacifist, I have not been killing animals, which means acquiring leather is very, very difficult. So we installed a mod which is basically allows us to make leather from fungus. And a big shout out to the commenter and all the commenters out there who've been leaving me recommendations, tips, and stuff. I really appreciate you guys. But, well, we can see here we're only at 20% dried, so hopefully we can wait it out today. But at the very latest, it'll definitely be in the next episode. We'll have some leather. In fact, quite a bit of it. But I think I put more. I thought I had more going. Oh, here it is right here. It's sealed up. So we've got 1.3, about a day and a half, I should say, left for our second batch here. So this will just be the first stage of it. This, of course, is on the final drying stage, but it does seem to take a while. So we'll have to occupy ourselves maybe with some home improvement. And of course, we're keeping a close eye on our goats. We do have a pregnant female out there in the wild. She's corralled up, but I think it's going to take several weeks for her to actually give birth. But, I'm not totally certain. So we're definitely going to be making daily, maybe, every other day. We'll make a trip and visit her. Because as soon as she does give birth, we want to get that little one back here and into our underground barn area. But we're not going to go visit that just now because the chickens don't want to disturb them. Obviously, we want to try and tame them by getting as high a generation count as possible. Ideally, 10 and over is what you would consider fully tamed for animals. But it's starting to get late, so let's hop in bed, and in the morning, we'll get started on our chores. Good morning, everybody. Still pretty rainy out there, but I have just spent the early morning hours looking through the handbook. I was doing a little searching around, trying to find the exact right wording here. The thing to search for related to the saddle for the Drake is Draconic. That's the best word. That's going to pull up a whole list. It's quite extensive, but essentially what we're looking at is here, the Draconic leather harness. Similar to the elk mount, there's other accessories you can add on, like blankets, saddlebags, different things, even like hardened, improved saddlebags. So you can probably carry quite a bit, which would be extremely helpful on long flights. But focusing on the harness itself, which is going to be the basic thing we need to mount our dragon. It looks like we'll need some nails and strips, obviously some leather, wood, and this right here, the Draconic schematics. Don't fret though, this is fairly easy to make. We just need a little parchment, which again is really simple actually. So back we can see the dragon stone, this black shimmering gem found near the remains of wyverns and other draconic creatures. I did pick one of these up, so it's in one of my miscellaneous chests. Better be, right? Well, here, I'll search for it. And it was something I found. Uh-oh, what did I do with it? It was next to the dragon's egg, which I originally found, and hatched. And that's how we got Pancake. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay, I've got 3 of them. We'll just take the one. Does it make anything else? Dragon some. Oh, a medallion. You know what? Oh no, I won't have enough. We'll need to go find more. Yeah, the medallion, I believe, functions very similar to the elk mount medallion too, so we'll be able to see this on the map once we attach the medallion. So we'll definitely be saving these, but I'm going to whip up a little bit of paper and then we'll go ahead and make that schematic. Like I said, I definitely want to get prepared so that once the leather's done, boom, we can make the harness. And hopefully right around that same time, Pancake will be grown up too, and we can take to the skies. Okay, well, after a little bit more investigation into the handbook, I've never actually made paper, believe it or not paper, we want parchment. Yeah, I've never actually made this in the game before, but obviously we're not going to be using hides, so we have to go with linen fiber pulp, which... it's kind of unfortunate because I assumed I could use papyrus for this. I believe some of the earliest forms of paper used papyrus, but either way, maybe it's something totally different. So we are going to need flax. Yeah, flax twine. We can use the fibers themselves, but otherwise it's simple. We'll just drop it into a barrel. Now, in addition, we'll need the sieve, which is going to take a bit more flax too. So headed out to the garden. Turns out I do have 4 little spots of flax. Let's just replant those. Yeah, so that's it though. I mean, I've got a bunch more flax planted, but the farthest along is 4 out of 9. No, that's not true. We've got 7 out of 9. Yeah, it was also recommended that maybe I use a little bit of fertilizer, get some saltpeter going, something, we could easily sprinkle something on there. I don't have like true fertilizer yet. It's just, honestly, I haven't had a lot of rot, but let's see what we can do with these fibers. Do you have 1 piece left? I'd love to be able to make these schematics, but if we have to wait, we have to wait. Like we determined, the leather is going to take at least a couple of in-game days to dry. Definitely seems like the mycelial leather mod, it's balanced it out for sure, even though the process is different from animal leather, which makes sense. It's still very well balanced. You can see it's only been 3% since we looked at it initially a couple of hours ago, but I like it nonetheless. So let's head back upstairs after depositing our flax grain. Don't want to let anything go to waste, but we're going to grab some boards and we'll see if we have just enough. I don't know if I'll be able to make the sieve. That's kind of my issue, but we can at least get here we go. Probably the one labeled boards. Yeah, we can at least get our barrel going with the pulp itself. So, all right, let's see what we've got here. We want, boom, linen fiber pulp, and we can just drop this in the barrel, I think. Okay, boom, here we are, down here in our cellar. Let's see. So the smallest quantity is 4 of these fibers. 1 linen fiber pulp. Honestly, I think that's all we need. I don't know if that's going to turn into multiple pieces of paper, but all we need is 1. So we need to save this for the sieve itself. So let's go ahead and seal this up. Only 24 hours. That's not bad. That'll definitely be done before this here. But so for the sieve, oh boy, Here it is. Boom. Found it right away. We need 5 twine. So let's throw these in the crafting grid. Boom. We got plenty. We could make 2 sieves if we wanted, but we're not going to do that. So just the one. This is another tool I've never used before. I've seen it. Actually, I might have made one initially because I thought that this is how we did panning, but no, obviously use a pan to pan, right? Either way, boom, we've made a sieve now, and we will officially use this for its proper purpose. I assume it only has the one purpose, right? Just for making parchment. Well, either way, I'll just pop it in down here so I don't forget about. Actually, let's see. Yeah, we'll leave it there. That's fine for now. And go deposit the rest of this stuff here. Put our dragon stone down here next to it. All right, I think, yeah, we've still got plenty of daylight. Let's go check on our goat friends. All right, I've got a little bit of food and water, of course, and in my basket, I've got the traps. I think I want to leave these at the location. Also, I think I want to continue to feed her, so we'll bring a little bit of hay, but what I'm going to do is make another one of these little papyrus baskets. Let's see if, oops, I've got enough here. Ooh, not quite enough, so I'll grab the scythe. Oh no, all my papyrus is harvested. I was hoping maybe it would be ready, but, well, there's probably a little bit of papyrus like growing along the riverbanks as we travel. Yeah, I should be able to find some. I think it just needs to be 3. Yeah, I'm actually pretty close. Actually, I only need 1 single papyrus, as if my math is correct. Oh, well, unfortunately, that's how it goes. Either way, yeah, I'll spend a moment or two getting some hay. Boom. Boom. I'd like to check on the chickens, but honestly, I don't think there's any real reason to go in there and disturb them. Although it was advised maybe that I should keep feeding them, even when she's already sitting on some eggs. So maybe we will just pop in there and fill up their troughs a little bit. But, oh, the honey's going good. Hasn't quite spread to the left here, but you can see I've started to turn these. I don't know if I like that better or not. Either way, okay, so let's put back the scythe. How much of this grass did I end up with? Boom, 5. That's fine, that's fine. Maybe I'll pick a few more as we go. But let's head on out there and see if any of the magic has happened, meaning if the goat has given birth. Okay, well, I managed to stop off and get another papyrus. Actually, I had to get a couple more. My math, as usual, was incorrect, but I did get the basket. Let's just come on in here, pay a little visit. Hello there, goats. We'll put that in there. Beautiful. And I took it all. Let's not put this too close to the fence. Don't want any chance of predators getting in there. I did at one point have a bunch of hay bales stacked up, and several people pointed out that that was a mistake. So thank you, everybody, but being extra careful. Boom. So yeah, the thing is we will be coming back to this corral multiple times. Even after the first one is born, we have to come back for a second one in hope that, you know, the juvenile will be of the right gender. But if not, then we'll just have to keep coming back. So in other words, it's good to have that basket there set up for the long term, so I don't have to keep coming back, bringing that back and forth. But all right. Quick trip, nothing to it. Safe sailing all the way back home in our speedy little river highway. Well, you know what? I realized after climbing up here that it probably wasn't the safest thing to do, considering we've only got one life and fall damage is very real. But either way, I wanted to get a good bird's eye view of our compound and kind of strategize, plan out a little bit what our next expansion should be. And honestly, I think it should be a better home for Pancake. Yeah, this is going to be our Draconis focused episode for sure. I don't know if we'll get her to fly yet. That's really just up to her own growth cycle, but we can definitely give her a nicer place to stay. And I assume she's going to get bigger too, so I think we'll just abandon this little area right here. Maybe I'll further like expand. Maybe we'll make this the kitchen in the future. Like I'll expand the house itself, so we'll have a nice dedicated room just for all our kitchen stuff. But we'll see about that later. I was thinking one option for Pancake and her little, I don't know, corral or dragon's den, maybe that's what we'll call it, could be on top of the roof. You know, it's going to be fairly limited in size, and the problem with that is, like, I'll have to adjust, like, the materials we use to kind of fit into the current build, which, albeit, is kind of a hodgepodge of just various different materials, but it's also kind of limited in space up there, isn't it? It's not very big, but it would be interesting, you know, have a rooftop, like, airy for the dragon, or, as I've thought before, I might bring this fence line just like right out here to the corner of the river, and then 90 degrees, boom, turn here and just connect it. So we'd have a big open boardwalk. Of course, we'd continue with like our checkerboard, but, or I don't know, maybe I would actually adjust that. Do a checkerboard on the outside, and then maybe have like nice granite or sandstone interior. You know, it just feels like with the dragon, you want to use stone, you know, something sturdy and of the earth, you know, not that wood isn't of the earth, but the dragon can hiccup and accidentally burn down a wooden, you know, barn, so that's why I think stone is better. So I don't know, I'm tempted to go with this out here, just because I'd like to see this area further developed, if you know what I mean, having this big open grassy area. I also kind of toyed with the idea of doing it up on the hill, but when I went right over there, I actually heard the chickens, and I was like disturbing them, just being in proximity on the verticals, so I don't think we can really build up there just yet, but you know, further off too, the top of the hill is an option, but I think that would require some sort of dedicated staircase, you know, that was like fenced in, protecting us from animals. You know, one stray cat can end the whole run, but either way, I'm thinking about it, and once I make that final decision, yeah, we'll break ground on a new build, I think. Oh, you know, another project somebody mentioned in comments was like a proper dock and boathouse. Yeah, which I think is a good idea. I like that. That's going to be a bit lower on the priority list, though, because quite honestly, once she starts flying, of course I'm referring to Pancake, the boat is kind of irrelevant to us, you know what I'm saying? It would really just be for aesthetics at that point, just for looks. So I like the idea, though. It's definitely something we can work on in the future. Maybe I could do it over there, like make this into like a proper, I don't know, dock. But either way, I have made my decision, so I hope nobody out there was too attached to like the roof idea, because we're going to go ahead and expand over here. This, like I said, will allow us to build up this area, but it also gives me the opportunity to work with my favorite materials again, the redwood and the ebony tree wood. Yeah, it's really great stuff. I think I just heard a cat. I'm not sure. But yeah, these two woods side by side look really nice together. I don't know. Honestly, the ebony wood just looks great next to anything, to be quite honest. But I'm very happy with the way these two turn out. Now, obviously, we're looking at different levels here, because over here it is at this level, and then it goes down a step. Maybe I can incorporate that into the build somehow. I think the first thing I'm going to do is dig out all this dirt so that we've got a flat surface. Then I can decide what I want to do. But kind of a little sunken area could be cool. Let's see. Yeah, so because having it raised up over here, oh look, it happens to intersect perfectly with where I put the oil lamp. But since it is raised up over here, it already kind of gives it the impression of being like sunken down. I guess it is all one level though, isn't it? But what I was thinking is maybe I could go down even deeper. Like, let's skip 2. This would require a lot of digging, but that's okay. Any good build is going to require just a whole lot of work. Let's see if we come all the way to the edge, 2 away. Boom. So now what I'm thinking is I dig this whole square out at this level. Oh, I went too far. That's alright. That needs to come back a couple. So that's there. Yeah. So let me go around here. Like I said, I'm going to lower this down a bit and see how I like it. Worst case, we can just fill it back in with like some stone or something and just call it the floor. But I think I like the idea of maybe a sunken, I don't know, dragon's den or something. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. Ooh, there we go. Man, oh man, I tell you, my iron shovel barely held up. Yeah, it's got a couple hundred, or about 117 more digs on it, though. I think what I'd like to do now is come out another 2, and then dig down. Again, yeah. Let's see here. It's definitely got that sunken appearance to it, but not quite sunken enough for my taste. But, you know, another thing I thought of while I was digging is I think I'm going to go ahead and fill in this gap here on this fence. Down low. Boom. Let's do something like this. Get ourselves some building blocks. Oh my god, my inventory's already full. Let's see here. Yeah, go around. I mean, because I'm over here digging. Literally, a big cat could slip in under this fence. But I think I'm definitely going to be using the ebony here, at least as the, you know, this walling material. But like I said, we're definitely going to incorporate some stone into this build too. So, let's see, 16 left. Oop, hopefully we've got just enough to bring it over to the edge safely. Nice, nice, nice. It's definitely going to be a little bit easier to tell like what we're looking at, you know, once the sun comes up. But you know, honestly, now that I see this, I feel like we might as well just fill that in. Yeah, that'll make it look a lot more seamless. I've also got to decide where to, like, put the door. Actually, I figure this is probably a good place right here. Let's do a double, because I think we'll need a large, like, entranceway to get her in and out. Obviously, we're going to be flying her, but you know, in case I need to walk for whatever reason, we want to be able to get in and out too. So this seems like a good spot. All right, I'll continue to dig until the shovel breaks or until I'm satisfied with the height, and then I'll probably have to repair my shovel anyway. But yeah, we'll come check this out in the daytime. And another day has come. I'm gonna have to do some cooking here soon. We got plenty of ingredients, but I just ran out of all my filled crocks, but we won't deal with that now. Let's step out here into the sunshine and check this out. Boom. Oh, well, that's right. I forgot I had to stop and repair my hammer, but see, I've gone down another level here, and once we get this dug out real quick, we can kind of start to gauge the overall just shape of it. And I think I am going to go with this depth. In other words, I'm not going to dig down further, but I definitely want to replace, it's not going to be just low fertility soil, so I'm going to have to dig all this out and then lay it out with some sort of replacement material. I did go ahead and harvest all this polished sandstone that we have. I had a bunch of slabs, you know, from digging out our little underground barn area, but I changed my mind. I was looking through the handbook thinking of what else I could use, because sandstone's great and all, but it's more abundant than it is, like, pretty. You know, we can see it used in here on the floor. It's not bad. It's just what I was thinking was light mud brick. So if we just look up mud, light mud brick, boom. Actually, maybe even the dark variety. Yeah, for that we just don't put sand in it. We just use soil, but otherwise it's a very similar recipe. For this one we just use sand and soil. But I also need clay. I've got plenty of grass. Yeah, 244 plus with my iron scythe I can easily get more. So I think I'm just going to store the sandstone for now. Oh boy, if I have room for it. Yeah, and probably go ahead and drop off some of this stuff. Another rainy day, oh my gosh, but either way, we're going to go dig up some clay. It's kind of something I've been putting off for a little bit, but I definitely need it. We got lucky with finding the fire clay, so I didn't have to like go out and do a whole bunch of digging, but look at that. There's some clay right across the river. I've also got blue clay over here. Yeah, it's something that I've found quite a bit of, not just blue clay, but all different clays, including fire clay. That's right, there's another seam of it directly above our salt mine too, including more black coal. So if we ever need more of that stuff, we'll get it. But currently, yeah, actually I could pay a visit. Yeah, maybe it's not a bad idea. We'll do a full clay run. We'll go grab some black coal while we're at it. And let's start with the blue clay, though. Stretch our legs. Maybe we can pay a quick visit to the birds. I don't have much over here. Need to refill this. Haven't visited these guys in a little while. Okay, they still got eggs. No baby chicks yet, but that's okay. Let's just pop over there. Hopefully it's less than 4 days. 2 days. Good. So it's working. Yeah. She's sitting on them as needed. Because last time I looked, I think it was at 4 days. Now it's at 2. So it's happening, folks. We'll have some little baby chickens pretty soon. But, alright, so we just head north along the lagoon here. This is actually a pretty cool little bay. And we're going to go dig up some blue clay. Let's do it. Okay, I think we might just skip the blue clay. And there's three or four different kinds of animals right there. I thought that was a cat. Not that, that's a rhino. I think there's a juvenile rhino right over there too. I thought it was a big cat at first. Maybe I should just swim over here. I don't really need blue clay. It's just kind of close by. Yeah, there it is right there. I definitely don't want to get attacked by a cat though. I mean, if it's a baby rhino, we can just avoid it, and we'll just dig. But I think it was a rhino. We just can't get close to it, because otherwise the mother will freak out, you know. You know how it goes with those rhinos. But, boy, it feels like it's been forever since I saw blue clay. Stuff's, it's been kind of changed since I started playing Vintage Story. Initially, it was everywhere, and I think finding red clay, for me at least, was less common than blue clay. But it was also a thing that you could just find fire clay like out in the wild, like on the surface. But that was obviously changed too. Boy, nonetheless, we're stacking it pretty quick here. I don't want to fill up the whole inventory with just blue clay, because I think we will flash forward to the fire clay next. And like I said, there's a little bit of black coal that we can get. You know, just to kind of take some of the pressure off of our charcoal production, so I don't have to constantly be cutting trees down and making charcoal pits. It's just another one of those tedious tasks that could be made easier, you know, if you get lucky and strike it rich, like we certainly have. Alright, well, I'm certainly getting my hands dirty today, digging through all this clay. I dropped off the blue, but I did stop and grab a few stacks of the red. And now, like I said, it's time for some coal and some of the hot, spicy stuff. I imagine if clay had flavoring, then the blue clay, obviously, is blueberry. The red clay, I think it's like a cherry or maybe even like a strawberry flavored. But this, oh, undeniably hot cinnamon right here, the fire clay. It's spicy stuff, but I don't recommend eating clay for real people, okay? Don't do it. Silly putty and Play-Doh, those are different stories. But don't eat clay from the ground. That could probably be pretty dirty, but either way, oh man, it feels like, wow, the grass has already grown. It feels like I'm on the surface here. Even underground, I can still hear the rain quite loudly. Well, since we're in resource collection mode, I did have a commenter ask if it was possible for us to collect these corals down here. And in fact, it is, to a degree. Some of this stuff breaks intact, and you will pick it up. Like, I've got coral ledges here. There's some lumpy sea sponge. But a lot of it will actually just turn into chunks of coral, like this. There's different colors, tan, red, yellow, and if we look at it, it eventually dries out. Well, it dies, in fact. It says fresh for 19 hours. I don't know if you can eat it. I don't think so, but once it does dry out, we can actually use it to make cobblestone, and I've got a little bit of this back in the house. Just a tiny, like a single block. I actually really like the way that fence looks. I'd love to see that face to face up in person. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe we will collect a bit of this stuff too for some decorative purposes. It will take a while for it to dry out, or I should say die. But it's sad. Although we'll just take a small amount of coral here. Don't worry, I won't hurt the entire reef. And look at these little, I don't know, are these little particles normal? What's that from? Huh, I think it's from the character. Weird. Alright, chest is looking a little bit more full now, but I did go ahead and use some of this already to whip up some of the dark mud brick. I think that's what we're going to go with here, but I do need more of it. Turns out that the grass is the bottleneck here, but that's okay. We'll just grab this and I'll show you the progress I've made so far over here. Pancake is going to be so excited when she sees it, I think. Okay, here we go. Yeah, obviously still not done yet, but I know I said we do the checkerboard here, but I think we're going to go with almost more of like a stripe. So let's come over here because I need the mud brick on this end too still. So I need to remove just this final layer. And then the steps will essentially be done. But obviously we're going to take out that bottom part too. Let's lay this out together though here. And looks like my scythe is getting pretty low. But you know, these iron tools, they do hold up really well. So probably be able to get this finished before I have to repair the scythe. Alright, there we go. Also need to get my wrench out here and turn a couple of the blocks. Good thing about the mud brick, it doesn't have a preference for the facing there. Okay, that looks nice. Yeah. See, I think it's turning out okay. And we'll of course add a bit more detail to it. I might even go up like another level of the fence. We'll see how that looks. Maybe we'll do like a layer of the ebony fence above it. Okay, so now with the mud brick, here's what I was thinking. Let's put that away. I'm probably going to need to go cut down another ebony tree too. But if we do, okay, something like this, I'm not going to have enough to go all the way. So I would circle it at this level. Actually, no, you know what? I made a mistake. Hold on. I don't want this at this level. Boom. Yeah, I'm going to have to dig this out now. Replace this with the mud brick. But I think what I'll do is I'll go around 2 and we'll place mud brick like this. This will be the final level. So this will be the flooring here. Boom, boom, boom. So I'll go all the way around with the mud brick. And then, like I said, we'll do kind of stripes. So starting here, because these two, that's going to be mud brick going along that edge. But then I'll start to drop in, yeah, some of the ebony, and we'll go around the inner part and then probably the very center will be more mud brick. So just to give you an idea of how it's going to look here, just a little bit more work to it. Not a lot, but yeah, the most time consuming thing is just going through and scything a bunch of grass. This mud bricks, it's good stuff. Really, really nice looking material. Although it's interesting because it actually breaks so quickly with the shovel. Yeah, it's mud brick, so it's not very sturdy brick. And it even tells you that there's a chance that the brick will just break permanently when you remove it with the shovel, and you'll just lose it. So it's really great stuff, like I say, when you're looking at it. But to build with, it's a bit time consuming, a little bit resource heavy, albeit basic resources, but it also has a chance to completely disappear upon breakage. But either way, the light and dark mud brick, definitely a good option for certain builds. Alright, now here we go. I think it's looking good. So, it's alright. It's kind of blandish, but, you know, it will look better, I think, once we get the dragon in here. Of course, it's definitely going to look better with her, but overall, it's not bad. It's okay. The materials really do make the difference, and this ebony is so beautiful, but yeah, could be a lot worse. I don't know, maybe I'll, like, chisel, like, a brazier in here. Sorry, I was mispronouncing it. But we could do something to decorate it a little bit, for sure, for sure. Alright, there we go. I think I've got them all turned. Maybe there's that one. Alright, so that's looking good. I don't think, I guess I could move her right now, but I think I'll just wait until she's fully grown and we've got a saddle on her. Let's just check. Yeah, still adolescent. Yeah, it takes a while. I'm not sure, but I assume that, yeah, because she does have a weight. See that? I bet if we were feeding her, it would probably increase her growth time, but can't really do that with our vegetarian playthrough. I guess I could try to throw some carrots or onions in there with her, but that might just offend her more than anything else. Oh, it's good to get out of that rain, though. I swear it feels like it's been raining for the entire episode. I'm pretty sure that it has, but we are going to pop below and check out our mycelial leather. See how that's going right now. Just want to organize my inventory. Oops, what did I miss? Oh, that's the dark mud brick. Yeah, my miscellaneous chests are getting a little too full here. I think we can probably get rid of that. There we go. So let's pop downstairs, see what's happening. Maybe I can, it's probably time to change over this one. Yeah. So the linen fiber pulp goes into the weak tannin next. Boom, right? Oh, no, that's, what am I doing? Linen, that's for our paper, duh. What am I looking for? That's what I'm looking for. All right, the acidified mycelial pulp. Let's not get too confused here. That goes into the strong tannin, yes. All right, now this, we're going to need our sieve for. To be honest, I actually kind of forgot about this, but we'll whip it up right now. So I think it's, what is it? What is the recipe? Hold on. I guess I could just open it up instead of guessing. Boom, boom. Oh, no, I need 4 of them. Oh, boo. So that's 3 times 4. So I need 12 more to be soaked. Gosh, I could have figured that out just by looking a little bit closer at the handbook. But I was trying to be as conservative as possible with this flax. Let's see. I don't know. Can I break this back down with my knife? It probably would show me if I could. I don't think that's an option. Either way, I know that we can use this for the pulp too. The flax twine, let's see. Okay, that gives 2. Where's the twine at? Pop up. Sometimes it takes forever to roll over. Let's just see what it says here. There it is. 1 for 1. Wow. Well, we're still going to have to wait then, but not to worry. We'll put this back downstairs in the cellar. Yeah, we know that we've got flax on the way. Oh, and I did use all the saltpeter I have to go ahead and, hopefully speed up the process a little bit. But put that in here, just organize it. There we go, boom. Looking good, but really we came down here to check on the drying stuff. So that's a 35%, man. It's going to take a while. Yeah, like I said, they really balance this, so it's not just like, boom, you can get it like super quick, It's not some sort of cheat to get around like the normal leather making process. In fact, I would say this might take actually a bit longer than the normal process. Whew, either way, it's good. We're learning the mods. It's brand new to me. I'm sure it's new to a lot of folks out there. It's kind of a lesser known mod, I think, but it's cool. It's a good alternative, like I say, especially if you want to do some sort of self-imposed challenge, such as I have here. But, well, we just have to reevaluate our timeline for flight. But it's okay, because currently there's no rush. The dragon's still an adolescent. But I think we'll end things here for today, guys. Just keeping things monitored. That's basically what we're doing now. Just trying to maintain, get our goats going, and of course take to the skies. So it is going to be a monumental event once we can finally fly. Either way, I hope you will continue to tune in for the episodes. Thank you everybody who's been obviously watching, leaving comments and stuff. You guys are the best, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.